265, and he really feels good about himself.
Yes, he does.
I saw him yesterday, and I know about heavy guys. I saw him yesterday when I first saw him. He didn't have a shirt on. When you get an old heavy guy that doesn't wear a shirt, he's proud of what he lost.
He has accomplished a lot of things, not just losing weight. And he's become a different player and a different person.
He sure has. And there's Randall Cunningham, and you see they're looking at those images. You see those are the defenses the Falcons were playing, and he's showing the coverage, and then they're looking at what they did and thinking about what they can do.
Hayward did get the first down. George fakes the carry to him. Gets it to Terrence Mathis. Mathis gets about 5.
If Mathis doesn't watch out, he's going to catch a couple hundred passes this year.
Truth, isn't it?
June Jones said he always liked him. You know, he came over from the Jets where he was, a kick returner, and he'd catch about 30 or 40 passes a year. In fact, you see from 90 to 93, he only caught 93 passes, and already he's caught over 80 with the Falcons.
82 now with those 2 receptions today.
But
he
I
is
think
from Atlanta. Excuse me. This is sort of a homecoming for him too.
Right, and I think the slot guy. I think part of it's scheme. The slot guy in this run and shoot is going to catch a lot of balls.
Terrence Mathis from Jeff George at the Eagle 35, stopped by Otis Smith.
Now this is what you call backside now. You see, Mathis is on the backside, and he's going to come up, and he's going to run it in. You see, he's reading, and then he puts his hand up when he's getting ready to cut. Now, George has to watch him. They don't know what pattern they're going to run. Mathis is reading the defense, and George is reading the defense. And George rolled right and threw back to Mathis.
Mathis shaken up, comes out, replaced by Darrell Spencer. The 30. Picked up 6 or 7. William Fuller tripped him up.
That's another good block by Mike Zandowski, the right guard. It's the second time they ran that trap. And you're going to see, here's Zandowski here. He pulls and makes a trap here. Hayward takes a little jab step and runs right off Zandowski's block. You see the little counter? Now watch 72. Boom! He makes that trap right there. Hayward's right in behind him, and whack, just runs right off that thing.
Hayward got 7, it's 2nd and 3. Hayward again. First down and more. To about the 21.
Ironhead's ready to rumble.
What a difference in a guy.
I know. He's always had. I mean, you look at Big Ironhead, and he's always looked like a guard or a tackle, but he's always had one thing. He's had quick feet.
Yep.
He has good feet and quick feet, and then he's so big, and when he gets his shoulder square and he gets going upfield, they tackle him the only place you can, and that's below the knees. If you look at that body, that's the only place on that body you want to hit.
Motion is Spencer. George too much time. Mike Ken might have jumped backwards. He's some story too. Mike Ken's always
Ball
been.
start. 62 offense prior to the snap.
On Dave Richards, not Mike Ken. Sorry, Mike. Started to say he's been a remarkable blocker, a remarkable tackle for a lot of years, particularly pass blocker.
I know. I've always said that Mike Ken, I remember years ago saying he was a picture-perfect pass protector.
And you can still say it.
And you can still say that. I mean, 17 years in the league. I think if anyone wanted to know or learn the technique of pass protection, they ought to learn it from Mike Ken.
George. Deep, incomplete. Intended for Andre Rison. Knocked down by Jackson.
Let's watch the technique. Here's Mike Ken here. And again, left tackle, you always want to keep your inside foot up. You see, you never let that inside foot go, because then if you put your inside foot back, then he can take the inside. You always keep that inside foot up and just work the guy to the outside. Don't let him get to the inside, which is the shortest distance to the passer.
Look at this. In the 78 draft in the first round, 12th choice, was Clay Matthews, now an Atlanta Falcon. Right behind him, Mike Ken. 2nd and 15. Screen pass, Terrence Matthews. Flag on the play as Mathis gets to the 20. Andy Harmon made the stop. Holding. It's going to be against the Falcons. George sort of, he doesn't really roll out. He doesn't really sprint out. He sort of strolls away from the center.
And sometimes he just kind of fades right or fades left instead of rolling or sprinting.
Holding, 72, offense. Still 2nd down.
Zandowski.
That's old Mike Zandowski. He's the right guard right here. He's made some good trap blocks today. Well, watch him here. You see that left arm goes up around Andy Harmon's neck, and it just stayed there a little too long, because sometimes you take the inside away with your foot, but you also take it away with your hand. Zandowski took it away with his left foot and his left arm up around old Andy Harmon's neck, though.
2nd and 25. Mathis in motion. Wind up and trips right. George looks in that direction, incomplete. Brought it down and sidearmed it a little bit.
Yeah, the other thing we were talking about, Ironhead Hayward, he runs those screens and he runs those draws, and he also helps the guards block. And they're going to roll right or left, and he does what they call chip. And that time he went up and he chipped Andy Harmon, who was against Zandowski. Now here's what a chip is. You say, what's a chip? Well, you're going to get a roll, and he comes up and he chips. He helps block, and then you get the quarterback rolling to that side. Now watch number 34, Ironhead Hayward. You see him come up, sit right there. That's a chip.
That's a tough chip.
I'll tell you, the guy who he chips on has some ribs the next day.
Yeah. Flag on the play, and the Falcons are going backwards.
Yeah, the Falcons have had a tough time with the penalties and the officiating and the calls. Remember last week in Denver? Woof.
Ball start, number 1, offense. Still 3rd down.
Number 1 is Jeff George.
Jeff George is shaking his hand. He said, that's a bunch of baloney. Now here's Jeff George. He's right here. He's in the shotgun. And they're saying that he false started. I don't know what he did. I mean, he sure as heck didn't move.
Must have been some kind of phony count or something.
Yeah, but look at it this way. He can do that. It's just moving his shoulders, and you have to do that to get enough voice to get out to your wide receivers. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
George keeps going right. Throws deep to the end zone, incomplete.
Yeah, the Eagle defense played pretty well on that series, plus the penalties just killed the Falcons, because you look at the sticks, they were way down there at one time.
Took them all the way out of field goal range.
I mean, they were, first down was around the 12-yard line.
Right.
They just went backwards quickly with those penalties. Holding penalties, offsides penalties, quarterback penalties.
Harold Alexander to kick it. Jeff Seidner signals fair catch at about the 7-yard line. Now he's saying they didn't give me enough room to make that catch. But that's all for naught. A lot of finger pointing. One guy pointing up, one guy pointing down. I'll take the guy pointing down. Pat Summerall, John Madden in Atlanta, the Georgia Dome. This is, as domes go, this is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, this is a good-looking dome if you like domes. It could use some more people in it, though.
Yeah.
One thing here, the Falcon team hasn't ingratiated the fans where they don't come sit in all the seats.
Cunningham looks behind him and now drops to throw it. Wings it out of bounds. Intended for Calvin Williams. Way over his head. Zeke Bretkowski.
Old Zeke's looking for a good play there that he can call in. See, Rich Kotite calls the plays. He's standing next to Zeke. He calls him to Zeke. He tells him to Zeke. then Zeke talks in that microphone that goes into a receiver in the helmet of Randall Cunningham.
Zeke also played at nearby Athens at the University of Georgia. A little bit before Herschel Walker. Barnett. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's send you to Jim James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat. Warren Moon's 6th pick in 12 games on an opening drive set up that Eric Rett touchdown for the Bucs, and Tampa Bay is on top of Minnesota by a touch. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first. Back to Atlanta. Pat and John.
Here in Atlanta, it's 7-0 Atlanta over Philadelphia. The Eagles ball 3rd and 10 at their own 7. Cunningham out of the end zone. Gets the ball to Herschel Walker. Not enough for an Eagle first.
Both of these teams, they have bad things happen to them on 1st and 2nd down, like the Falcons last time they had the ball. They had 3 penalties and sent them back. And here, if you don't gain something on 1st down, it's hard when you get in that 3rd and long. You get a completion, you still have to punt.
Barker's kick this time is a dandy to Clarence Burden. Looking for some place to go, doesn't find it. Falcons will take over at their own 34. They lead 7-0. Here are the standings in the NFC East. Dallas, of course, won on Thanksgiving Day, 10-2 their record. The Eagles 7-4, Arizona 5-6, the Giants 4-7, and Washington 2-9. They play each other today. In the West, Atlanta's in 2nd place, 5-6. They're trying to get today to even 500, and they'll play San Francisco next week. The 49ers 9-2.
Yeah, and of that group, I mean, the Cowboys are the ones that are playing like champions right now. I mean, that effort on Thanksgiving Day by Jason Garrett, and effort by Emmitt Smith, his offensive line. I mean, that was a tired team that really emptied their tank. That really impressed me.
Both wide receivers were hurt. They still played. George wings it out to Andre Rison, out of bounds.
And I think the other team is playing like a championship team, or championship caliber, the San Francisco 49ers.
We'll see next week against these Falcons.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. Andre Rison against Deion Sanders again. Andre Rison wasn't even active. He was suspended last week, so they get him back today. And while he was gone, it looked like Jeff George has really gotten to know Terrence Mathis a lot better, and is going a lot more to Mathis than he has thus far to Andre Rison.
Andre Rison, very talented, covered today by Eric Allen. Here's George, confusion in the backfield, and George had to get it out of bounds.
You know, now both teams have one of those, and I don't know how you practice all week, and this can happen. I seriously don't, where you come back and it's just going to be a plain handoff, and the guy you go to hand off to isn't there. It looks like George was going to the right, and Hayward went to the left, and Randall Cunningham and the Eagles did the same thing. I don't know how that happens. I really don't. Someone in the huddle doesn't hear it, or thought you said left when you said right, or thought you said 2 when you said 3, or whatever, but that shouldn't happen at the 12th game of the season.
And you find yourself, when it does happen in situations like this, 3rd and 12. George, look out, from behind by Andy Harmon.
And Jeff George did the one thing that you can't do. You can go back there. Here's Andy Harmon. He's number 91. He's running a stunt, going to the outside. Jeff George looks at him right there. And when he looked at Andy Harmon, if he would have kept looking downfield and step up, he could have thrown the ball maybe. But when he looked at Andy Harmon, it was too late.
When you look, you lose everything. Jeff Seidner back deep for the Eagles. Down quickly are the Falcons. Elbert Shelley had 2 shots at Seidner. The second one was successful. Good hustle.
Andy Harmon was impressive on that move. I mean, where he started to the inside and then looped around to the outside and made that tackle on Jeff